Hi, it's Arian here from Life is Crafted, and here's a video on planning your week using the A5 week on 2 pages inserts. So I get a few questions on how best to use them, and really I've designed these pages to help you plan your life. So it's not so ad hoc, given that planning is very unique for people. So what I've tried to do is to create a blank page where really every week, every day can be a fresh start. And I created these pages because I couldn't find something that really suited my needs in a way that was colorful, uplifting, inspiring, which is why I created the Dotty range to begin with. And then these are also available in the Russell design, which I'll show you a little bit later, and the Flourish design. So same layout, just slightly different colors depending on your personal taste. Now, everyone, as I've said, is a little bit different because we all have different lives, we all have different ways that motivate us, we all have different needs. So this page is really customizable to what you need, which is why there's not sort of hard and fast headings at the top. And what there is there are things that I believe help you plan, help you get clear on what's important, help you do things, and then help you celebrate at the end of the week. Now, people like to plan in different ways. There's lots of gorgeous stickers you can use. People use lots of colored pens, washi tape, you name it. People are doing all sorts of different things, and you need to work out for you what works with your time scale, what works with your motivation, and how you like to plan. And a lot of it is a little bit trial and error. Now, for me, I love the idea of color coding, but in practical terms, when I'm sort of running around living my life, I'm not generally carrying all those pens and bits and pieces with me. I've got my planner and probably a blue or a black pen. But what I like to do when I plan my week is to start with a few colors for headings and that type of thing. So in an ideal world, going back to planning your actual week, is that you've looked at your yearly plan, you've looked at your monthly plan. So here I've got the monthly dreams. So this is at the beginning of every month, where you probably sit down at the end of the month before and start going through your notes, your master to-do list, your routines, your special dates to remember, projects that you might have on in your life, deadlines. And here is where you start planning what you need to do for this month. All right, and I've got it broken down into the 3 most important things, because as I've said before, there can be so much going on, right? With every role in your life, with the different jobs that you have, that really your to-do list can become very long during the day, which can be very overwhelming and can really deter you from getting started. So when you spend a little bit of time prior to the day or prior to the week or prior to the month, really deciding what are the 3 most important things and focusing on getting those done, everything else is a bonus. All right, so coming to the week, parts at the top can be used in different ways, right? So one way is to give them different headings based on the big areas of life that are important to you right now. So I have a few that are the same from week to week and a few that can differ depending on what's going on. So for example, this is where I use my colored pens. I have a personal column. Then I sometimes split the columns in 2 just because you can. Down here I have contacts, so people that I need to contact during this week. I have errands, so errands that may need to be run. And you can see I haven't got great handwriting, but that's okay. I can read it, and that's what's important. I can read it most of the time. For me, I then have home. So stuff that might need to be done around the house this week. I have, where's my pink pen? Here we go. So Poppy, that's my lovely little daughter. So I have an own column of things that are specifically needing to be done for her. And then of course I've got Life is Crafted.
And here my pen's not working so well, but you know, that happens in life sometimes. And these two I kind of keep free depending on what's on. So at the moment, I'm doing lots of the 2017 designs. So I might put here the LIC 2017. So this might be the normal tasks I will need to do for Life is Crafted this week. And this might be specifically on a project that I'm working on. I've also started putting one of these columns as later. Because the way my brain works, I always come up with things that need to be done not within this time frame. And I like to have a place where I can write them down. So that's it for me. So it's sort of, you know, I need to service the car at some stage and it's not going to be done this week, maybe not even this month, but so that I don't forget it, because if you think it, ink it, I write it down there. All right. And so probably due to looking at my master to-do list, looking at my monthly dreams, knowing what sort of deadlines I might have, I decided what my top 3 priorities are this week. All right. So just for the sake of it, my top 3 priorities are going to be, oh, you can't see because this thing's in the way, but it might be, I need to book puppy vaccinations. I need to complete A5 Dotty designs, and I need to call Chloe. All right, so wins is something that you will do towards the end of the week. So reviewing your week to sort of say, okay, well, the wins I really had this week was, you know, I got the job. I completed organizing the laundry cupboard, which has been haunting me for a while, and it's done. The wins I had was that I, you know, read that book I've been meaning to read for 10 minutes every day. Gratitude is also a reflection, looking back at the week and what are the 5 things you're grateful for. Could be more than that, but 5 is just a nice way to concretely grab it and actually note things down. So it's grateful for clean water. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that the bins were taken out this week because they weren't last week. I'm grateful that I have beautiful pages to work with. I'm grateful that I have a husband who is romantic. So I was saying this is one way you can do it. Other ways, people who may not be able to fit everything they need for the day down the bottom could use then, you know, this column as Sunday. So if there's more to-dos here, then it's putting it there. But this way works for me. So you might have, you know, study, job, one of your projects might be KonMariing your house. So you would have a column that has to do with that. So what it is then, it's putting down, knowing what you need to do now, looking back at your lists, what needs to go in these columns for you. So just for example, you know, personal, I know that I need to check bank account. I need to do my month in review. You know, errands, it might be I need to pick up the dry cleaning. Contact. I put call Chloe there because it's a priority, but for me it works good if I put it within the column that is relevant too. So when I look there and know, oh, who I need to especially contact this week, it's there. Now you might have people that you call every day. It's up to you. You don't necessarily need to write that person's name there because you know you're going to call your sister on a daily basis. This is probably more for me. It's things that don't happen regularly. So Chloe, I know I need to contact Tisha and I need to contact Jane. Sometimes it might be more than that. I also need to contact my friend Dane. So I'm going to put his name here. I've run out of lines, but because their names are quite short, I'm going to put him over here and give him a little checkbox, right? So it's flexible. You can do what you want. So you get the idea. You know, stuff I need to do around the home, I've decided that because I am going through a bit of a declutter, that I am going to focus on organizing my shoes, you know, or I need to fix the headlight on the car because it went bust the other night. So that gives you an idea. So it's starting up here with putting down the things that you need to focus on this week. All right. Then looking at all these lists, I'm starting to plan by deciding, okay, well, I know I'm going to be home on Monday. All right. And the things I can do when I'm home include, you know, so I'm going to organize my shoes today. So I'm transferring then and deciding at that moment what is going to be done when. And this is not set in concrete, right? Life happens, things get in the way. But if you wake up knowing what you have intended to do that day, you can start that day a lot quicker than kind of faffing around and going, oh, well, I could do that, and I could do that. Having a time where you plan for yourself, plan for the week, is really shortcutting then the activities that you do, because you can jump right in rather than spending, you know, a lot of time going, oh, should I do that now? Should I do that then? Because you've already decided previously. All right. Another thing I might do is, I know I'm going to have about an hour on the computer, so I'm going to do my email responses. Right, and it's looking at this going, okay, well, I know we're going out and about on Wednesday, so I'm going to do dry cleaning then, or pick up the dry cleaning as part of my errands, or, you know, go to Kathmandu, a shop, because they've got thermals on sale at the moment, and I know we're going to need them in a little while, so I could do that as well. Kathmandu. Now, if there are some major things, often based on your priorities for the week or knowing that you've got deadlines, because up here is your schedule, okay? So you might have appointments. So I know at 10 o'clock, and I choose a circle, people just write it there, or some people do this thing here. I know I've got mother's group dinner. And a lot of the time, the things that you're putting here are appointments, events, deadlines that you've previously been given, right? So before you're getting to this page, you might already have a few bits written down. So, you know, 10 o'clock, we've got play date there. And you can write the address here. So you've got all the details in one place when you need it, or you might know the address is somewhere you go regularly, so it's playdate with H. Yeah, and so based on your priorities, based on your deadlines, you're going to say to yourself, what are the top 3 priorities I can do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? You may not always be able to plan those priorities at the end of the week prior, because things may change, but knowing that I need to do these things, I mean, you know, that phone call is going to take me like 2 minutes to organize Poppy's vaccination. So to get it out of the way, I might go Poppy vac call. You know, I know it's going to take me a little while to complete the A5 Duddy designs, and I put aside Tuesdays and Fridays for my work times. So that's going to go in my top 3 priorities for Tuesday, complete Dotty designs. All right, and for remember down here is when you look at your special dates to remember or your bills being due. So for example, I know it's Chloe's birthday down here, which is why we need to call her. The rent is due on Wednesdays. So that's really how I plan my week. And it just gives me a sense of relief and a sense of a little bit more certainty in this very uncertain life of knowing what I plan to do when. All right, and what my week looks like and what's assigned to each day. And when you actually get things done, it's a really great feeling. And I love checking things off. So that day when I've picked up the dry cleaning, it gets ticked off here. I mean, I tick and rub out. Sometimes if I've planned something and I know that it's going to be quite likely that it's done, I tick it off there, and then when it's actually done, I put a line through it. So any way you like to get things done, any way that makes you feel good when you've completed something, do it your way. But that's how I do it. Now, I've got some blank little columns over here, and this is really, once again, because everybody's life is different. Everybody wants to keep track and record different things. So I actually, for me currently, this one here gets left blank. It used to be when I was doing a lot of coaching, and I'm still sort of on mat leave from that, I used to put my coaching client information here. It was just like a nice, easy reference to see who I had on each week in one place, even though I would have their time scheduled in throughout the week. These two I still currently use. And what it is, because I'm a bit of an avid reader, I listen to Audible books, and Netflix has sometimes wreaked a bit of havoc with my productivity, I like to keep track of what I have read, watched, and listened to. So this column I put read, watch, listen. Just so I know for reflection what I've been doing. So for example, I am watching, what is it, Stargate at the moment, Stargate Atlantis. Now I don't go, I watch episode 7, you know, season 3. I just kind of put I've watched Stargate Atlantis. And for me, I put a W next to it, just that I watched that. I've been reading, sorry, I don't need to read and talk at the same time, but I've been reading the KonMari book. This is the life-changing magic of tidying up, but that's a bit long, so I'm just going to put KonMari because I will remember that. I'm going to put an R afterwards because I've been reading it. And I am listening to a book called Bloody Lessons, a fiction set in Victorian San Francisco, and I'll put an L there because I'm listening to it. So that's just a thing that I'm keeping track of, and that might be something completely different for you. And down here is when I get to the end of the week, I like to do a bit of a week in review / planning. So this is my little list of things that I am needing to do, because once again, I like to check things off as I go because it helps me build momentum. And I put week in review / plan here. So what it is sometimes you don't complete everything here, right? Things got in the way. So especially, you know, like the later, it's not what I'm intending to do this week, but I've put a column there to capture the information so I can feel that I'm not floating around with lots of stuff going on in my head. And that drains a lot of energy, right? So when I put the later stuff here, one of my week in review / planning activities is to move incompletes, right? So it's either stuff I wasn't able to complete here, so I may not have been able to contact Tisha, and really that's something that I would like to do next week, so I would move it onto next week's contact. And often I write down these headings for 2 or 3 weeks in advance, because I know if I need to move things or whatever, they are there, right? So I'm going to write Tisha here at the end of the week. The other part is celebrating wins. Celebrating wins. All right, so I might have completed the A5 and done a little bit more, worked a little bit more on the flourish. So it's really just taking the time to acknowledge, wow, okay, yeah, I did that and it feels great. I completed something I intended to. I'm rewarding myself, just being like a little pat in the back, Arian. But
too often we let things go by. That yeah, we've done it. Okay, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And you kind of lose that feeling of reward, that sense of self-satisfaction that we need in order to motivate ourselves to do more, right? So spending a little bit of time, and you might have that on a separate list. You might write a blog post about it. You might just go through everything that you did this week and have that sense of knowing, that sense of satisfaction that you did this whole bunch of activities that's moving you forward in life or helping you maintain life currently. And they might be little, but when you put them all together, it's such a powerful action, right? And it really, if you give it a go, it really does propel you forward and allow you to do more of what's important. All right, where's my little list from now? Just flipping so I make sure. Okay, review lists and tasks. So, this would be something that I would write in advance. I'm just giving you a bit of a dummy page here. Review lists and tasks. So this is helping you plan for future weeks, right? So that's going to your master to-do list, to your, book reading list. This is the other pages in the starter pack. And you might have your project task list from a notebook or another page that you have from the starter pack. But it's basically reviewing those, and do any of those need to go on to one of these areas for the coming up week. All right? And then, record key happenings. Oh, it's my writing getting funny with this thing in the way. So sometimes things happen that you haven't planned for, right? Good things, bad things, important things. And what I like to do is then make sure that I have a record of it somewhere, right? So I might have paid a bill earlier than it really needed to be. So I would then write on the day, paid Telstra bill, because it was due next week, but hey, I paid it earlier and now I have a record of it. Okay, somebody might have dropped in for a cup of tea unexpectedly, and that wasn't scheduled, but it happened. So I'm gonna go, Danny dropped in. Just so, it's part of my week, so it's there. So really, that is the way that you can use your A5 weekly pages. I hope that answers a lot of your questions. Oh, yeah, sorry, of course. Down here was a request from a few of you life crafters, and it's really keeping a record of, the water you've drunk during the day. So hydration is really important, obviously. So what you can do is, as you go through the day and drink your glasses of water, is just, color in the water, and you can keep track of it. So thank you for your suggestions, because I do, if enough of you request them, I do try to work them in if I can see that there's a use in this style of planning. So these are also available in the Russell design. So here, exactly the same layout. Got your monthly pages, and then go into your weekly pages. There. And you've got your flourish layout. All right. So plan well people. Any questions, just stick them below, send me an email, and I will do my best to answer them. Enjoy, life is crafted.